Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, July 20, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. A quote from Lao Tzu: "To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders." Now, if you look closely, you can see a still point in everything. A place where there is no movement, no sound, just pure emptiness. That stillness is the key to our freedom, happiness, life mastery, everything. And we have to find that stillness inside ourselves first, before we are to find peace with the outer world. That is the great destination and meditation to practice every morning, afternoon, and whenever you can. When you can start your day with discovering stillness, everything you want becomes easier to manifest. Most of us are in that opposite direction, right? Most of us, when we wake up in the morning and we're not quite awake, but we're awake, kind of between, our minds are off into tomorrow. It doesn't take it long, but we're off in tomorrow and other things, and we kind of wander in the past, and then we wander into the yesterday and tomorrow. Are we still? Being still means is that you leave the mind alone. You're not in the mind. You're outside the mind. You're within the heart mind. That's why in these meditations, we go through the guidance information, and then we focus in the quiet time on our breath. We become very still as a statue. This is the place where we manifest. This is the place where we create. This is the place where we get all of the answers that we have seeked out for a millennia of lifetimes. But isn't it interesting that the majority of us never go there? It shows you the grip that the ego has on us. Practicing stillness as much as we possibly can. And notice how things change. Dive in at those special times when you have the most energy. Establish this stillness meditation practice for yourself, and you will find everything you need comes easier. See, because we're not fighting anything when we're in the stillness. We're not analyzing. We're not judging. We're not coming down on ourselves. We're not questioning. We're not pushing ahead or rushing things or forcing things. We're in total stillness. Kind of like the center of the storm. Most of us are in the storm. Right? We don't know we're in the storm. We think that is just regular. How many times have you heard the statement, that's the way life is? That's crap. Now, you step into the storm, like most people in the rat race. What are they doing? They're scurrying, they're hurrying. They got to get here, they got to get here, they got to get this done, they got to get that done. And it consumes them. Consumes them. They become lost in that soup. And so they go through their whole lives doing this, and then they leave the body. And a lot of them will say, I wish I would have spent more time taking it slower, enjoying the journey along the way, appreciating and being grateful for every step I took in that body. See, this is a practice that sooner or later, most of us will be in. That's why these meditations, these guided meditations have been going on now, going into 7 years. Reason is that you practice stillness in these meditations. You're as still as a statue. You leave the mind and ego alone. You relax into the body as much as you can. In other words, you feel yourself leaning into the body, and you will relax. You're as still as a statue because you're not diverted. And all you're doing is focusing on that breath rising and falling. You're in total harmony at that point with the God that you are, the pure consciousness. So what happens? What do we know about stillness? So when we are still, you will first notice that is the mind and body are restless. This is understood. Focus on your body from within. Like you're inside your body, relaxing the muscles, relax the whole system until the lungs are moving. The secret is to take enough time to let the body become a little bit more relaxed and still before the mind will settle down. When you get the physical posture correct, the mind comes into a beautiful clarity and alignment, settling into itself. Keep your spine absolutely vertical, balanced, so that your head just rests on top of your spine. You can feel immediately connected with the great omnipresent God source with a pure surrender to stillness. In that moment, the Kundalini energy will feel safe enough to rise up the spine. This is like a reward for your courage and determination to bring the meandering mind into a one-pointed awareness. Once total stillness is reached, you will discover the clarity of seeing the fabric of this universe. When you realize nothing is lacking, this whole world belongs to you, Lao Tzu. When you realize nothing is lacking, this whole world belongs to you. A relaxed, open, receptive body is crucial to maintain, as it is your gateway or doorway to God. Think of your body as the greatest temple on this earth that allows you to experience the divine. The more relaxation it can contain, the deeper you can fall into real inner peace. And this anchor in perfect peace is how we master this lifetime. Can you take this moment right now to become still while you're listening? Relax your back and shoulders. Take a few deep breaths into your belly. let it make an emotional sound. Let the sound release whatever the strongest emotion inside you now. The sound is like a sigh of relief from the constant suffering humans experience. This release enables us to become even more deeply relaxed. Bring awareness to whatever parts of your body that are not fully relaxed and to ask them what they need. The contractions and tensions in the body are there to catapult you deeper into your spiritual evolution. They serve as a reminder to prioritize discovering your inner or inherent Buddha nature, your essential Christ-like essence, and feel your true, real soul connection with the God Source. Remember that Buddha is a state of being. It isn't a being, it's a state of being, just like Christ is. It is an enlightened being. Ancient Buddhists practiced meditating on a statue of Buddha, not to worship it, but because it represents a perfectly still, balanced, and centered experience of life. By meditating on any sitting Buddha-like statue can help your body to remember this stillness. Perfecting this relaxed, centered posture is the foundation for anyone who is deeply yearning for freedom or enlightenment. If your body is not perfectly centered and grounded, you cannot spiritually fly. Sitting still, doing nothing, may seem like a huge waste of your time. It may feel elementary, and that you're only regurgitating your fears, worries, and thoughts the whole time you were sitting. Yet the most powerful experiences in this life always come in subtle packages. When you sincerely start showing up to do your meditation practice daily, you will find a millisecond of pure stillness and be completely amazed at what manifests out of that. The clarity and insight that comes out of this glimpse can transform your entire life. This stillness meditation, this is what we do. The stillness meditation practice is a deep dropping of your ego and its attachment to this world. You are simply sitting in the center of the mind cyclone. Here, you are the watcher, observing this miraculous galaxy of life, thoughts, spinning all around you. You are always at the center of this universe, because this universe is infinite in all directions. Every point is the center of an infinite field of time and space, including you. So as you're sitting quietly, relax the mind. Be unfocused. Don't use the mind or touch the thoughts as best you can. Listen to the quietness of your breath. Notice the feeling of your breath moving through you. Lift the body. Let the body breathe you. You're just the observer, remember. a witness who's separate from it all. As you relax into the body deeper, detaching from your thoughts, you will start to feel more connected with everything. Through this simple practice, we can surrender to the point of knowing, without a doubt, that we are the very center of this entire universe. This is what it's all about. It's the silence. How many of us are in silence? Choose to be. You don't choose. Doesn't mean that you go into a cave. You can be silent anywhere. It's in the stillness. This life is the storm all around us. Most of us get caught in the storm and we don't get out. There's a few of us that recognize that why would we go into the storm? Why not sit in the center and watch? This is how we learn to master the ego mind, to master our thoughts, and to step in, so to speak, to pure consciousness, the God. Now, when you look around, what do you see? You see scurrying and hurrying and stressing, rushing and pulling and fighting with oneself, with this life. Fighting happiness, right? Fearing loneliness, fearing happiness, fighting contentment, peace, joy, bliss. Why is that? Why is it that we choose to be always in a hurry? Always. Because it's the societal pressure that's put upon us through our programming that's what we have to do. You've got to do that in order to get ahead. You've got to do that. In order to get things done, you've got to do that. You don't realize this, but you can slow time in silence, in slow movement. See, more into the peaceful energetic field, rather than the hurried and rushed and complaining and irritability and disappointment, all those things. They come with the package of rushing through this life. And like I have said, many of us, when we leave the body, one of the biggest things that we want to be known, we can't figure out why we just rushed through this life and didn't really enjoy it. Why we're in such a hurry all the time. This is why it's very difficult for humans to really, truly relax. Yeah, you go on a cruise and you think you're relaxing, but you're doing, right? But to go someplace, where is that place? It's within you. It's where it's at. But we've been programmed so much and trained so much through the social structure of this planet that we believe that rushing and hurrying is the only way to go. It's the only way, because if we don't rush and hurry, we're going to miss out. We're going to miss things. See, we're not going to be able to partake in them because we'll be left behind. It's that feeling, that's that ego mind insecurity where it pulls us. Sometimes you really don't care to go, but it pulls you. The pull is so heavy that, okay, so you let go and you go. When all along, it's being in the now and totally relaxed, total silence. Being in silence is how we discover who and what we are. It's how we discover how phenomenal this life is. Most of us are fighting it every day. We fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it. This is why some of us at times are so tired or fatigued with everything in life. Because we spend all of our time fighting it. And swimming as fast as you can to get from point A to point B in this life. Forget about floating. Everybody's in a hurry and swimming. Upstream, against the current. But to be able to discover this is super positive. So we know we do that, right? And so we say to ourselves, okay, how are we going to not do that? It's like most of us shallow breathe. We don't know it. Very rarely do we focus on our breath. The only time we focus on our breath is if something alarming draws our attention. See, the breath heals the body. But if you've got a civilization most of the time that's breathing shallow or hardly at all, why do you think so many people have oxygenation problems in their bodies? They're in such a deep habit of shallow breathing. And isn't it ironic? It's the breath that heals the body. The breath. Not the kind where you pass out because you're almost breathing real deep, and it's ease within and out. Easy breathing. Now sometimes we take deep breaths, right, to calm ourselves down. You've been through that, right? We all have, where you might have been a child and you're all excited and upset and everything, and your mother or father said, just calm down, take a couple of deep breaths, you'll feel better. And you do when you do that, because you focus on the breath. It's like when any of us get upset or bent, right? Anything can do it. It just depends where we're at with ourselves. And then we can kind of tap on ourselves and say, wait a minute, why don't we go this way instead of that way, the way we always go with this? Why don't we just breathe? It's like when you get upset with somebody, right? Oh, the ego mind's heavy duty there, isn't it? So instead of going with the ride with the ego mind, you step back and say, this time I'm going to focus on my breath. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to breathe in and I'm going to breathe out. It's like, you decide to go take a walk, right? As soon as you're taking a walk, you're breathing. You're focused on the breath. See, because, and I believe that the majority of people who come to this meditation, if not all of them, and listen to it, is that we know that in the event that we decide not to go within and not to focus on breath in the now, we're going to have a rough time of it as a civilization. We just are. Because then we've chosen the material physical world. And everybody, there's so many people who believe they're going to miss out on the material physical world if they're always meditating. They can't just meditate all the time. You got to do things. So you sit there and you say, But that's not the point. The point is that you meditate to move into the now. Because all of us have been caught up in yesterday and tomorrow for thousands of years. It doesn't get us. Where do we go with that? Usually frustration, irritation, disappointment. Right? So it's quiet. It's being in the now. It's focusing on the breath. It's learning about what? You. And most of us won't discover that. Most of us in this lifetime will not. It isn't a big deal. We've got endless lifetimes ahead of us. Others will tap into it, find out that that's the true path because of the fact that, what are we all doing? We're all rushing to do what? We're rushing to have. Whatever it may be, we are rushing to have relationships, money, all kinds of things, good health. We're rushing to have. Now, if there was nothing to have, would we be rushing? No. There'd be no reason to. When you discover that you have everything you'll ever need, will you be rushing? No. There's really no reason to. So see, it's a decision to go into the opposite direction of where this civilization has been going for tens of thousands of years. Instead of rushing, we slow down, purposely. You ever notice, maybe you have, maybe you've experienced this, where you're kind of just, going along and you get behind somebody. Could be while you're traveling in your car. Could be at the grocery store. Could be, at a movie, whatever, okay? But you're in line, and the being in front of you may be older, right? Older than you. And they're really, really, really slow. They're moving slow. They're not in a hurry. And you become a little flustered, irritated, because you've got an agenda, you've got a time, and you've got things that you've got to get done, right? And so, but this being in front of you is really slow. You're sitting there and you're going, holy cow, you gotta be kidding me. What the heck? Now, there's a choice there, right? A lot of people will get frustrated and flustered about it. And look at that being like they'll, get a life or get out of my way. Or you can take the other direction and just be in silence. What's the hurry? You know what the hurry is? The hurry is your ego mind and your programming on this planet that you've received throughout your life. That's the hurry. In order to get things done, you've got to hurry. You've got to get this done and that done. And how does that happen? We do it. We do it. No one else does it. We do. We do it to ourselves. We set this agenda. We have time frames, right? And we're in a hurry. And then when we're late, late. Oh, goodness. We get late and we get upset and we're worried because, what are the people going to say? Not on time. Oh, gosh. See, we are so concerned about what other people think of us that they control us. Society controls us. dictates to us how we should be. The programming, everything. We're very conditioned species. It's a good thing that we've discovered that. We're a conditioned species. We're very predictable through our conditioning. This is why so many of us are fooled through this life. And the only reason that we all suffer, and we all do at certain times, it doesn't have to be catastrophic suffering. It can be disappointment, it can be emotional, whatever. But the reason that all suffering, it comes from a lack of awareness of our divinity. In other words, we don't know who and what we are. Not a bad thing either, because then when you can discover that you're not aware of who you are, what you are, you thought you were Jim Johnson, right? And you find out that that's not who I am. Then you come upon a discovery through going within, and you begin to find, you know that who you truly are is already awake, enlightened, loving, and free. Isn't that wild? When it comes down to it, we already have everything we need. Absolutely everything we need. Everything. Inside us. To experience all the love, joy, and happiness we could ever desire. All efforting to get anywhere better than here is simply divine misguidance. This universe is already amazing. We are already amazing. This universe is already amazing. And this moment is totally amazing. By sitting in awe of this amazingness that is already here now, we wake up to the spiritual immensity of our being. We suddenly stop playing small, we end all of our suffering, and continuously step into the vastness of our totality. The pathway for all of us into ourselves, into enlightenment, is a perpetual journey into the now. Now, it is a wonderful journey. It's a wonderful yet treacherous journey. It involves getting to know ourselves very, very, very intimately, gently, and spiritually. When we break free from the hard, cold, calculating mind, we realize who we truly are is love itself. We then find out our life's spiritual mission and sole purpose is to radiate this love everywhere we are. When we know our real nature is the divine itself, we become desireless, selfless, and effortlessly remember how deeply, intimately, and infinitely connected we already are to the spiritual source inside it all. Nothing, absolutely nothing is lacking in you. You cannot be improved upon. People who try to improve you are destroying you. And they're the real mischief makers. There are so many improvers in this world. That's why the world is in such a chaos. There are too many people trying to improve you. Don't allow anybody to improve you. You are already the last word. You're not only the Alpha, you are the Omega also. You are whole, complete, and perfect. Even if you feel imperfect, the imperfection is perfect. Do not worry about it. It will look strange to others if you say that your imperfection is also perfect. And of course, that's ego mind pushing that out there. And nothing is lacking in you. Yet the fact is that you appear imperfect not because you are imperfect, but because you are a growing perfection. We think perfection cannot evolve. Because what we mean by perfection is that which has come to its last growth. This definition of perfection is dead. God, the pure consciousness, is perfect because God lacks nothing. God goes on growing from one perfection to another. The growth continues. God is evolution. Not moving from imperfection to perfection, but from perfection to more perfection to still more perfection. Osho. I'll join you in the meditation and I'll return to close us out. Take a slow and easy breath in through the nose. And a slow and easy breath out from the mouth. Remain still, like a statue, focused on the breath rising and falling. Question, ask yourself, do you feel connected with your higher self? There is a higher power inside you who can help you make those life choices and meet up with the right people so you can easily manifest any desire. I invite you to make time right now to establish this sacred deep connection today. Once you discover your highest inner spiritual guidance, you will have absolute 100% trust and faith and confidence that all things will work out effortlessly for you. You will be able to manifest any dream that you have. There is no purpose bigger to be done in this life than to stop searching outside yourself for answers and realize your intrinsic Christ Buddha nature. Could there be anything more important to do than this? It's right here inside you, right now. Your purest presence is the door to enter. Inhale deeply. Hold that breath while you keep asking your highest spiritual guidance to present itself. It can be that easy. Just let go of doubt and trust in the process. Do not inhale again until you feel some kind of higher connection. Just feel it. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Sunday, July 21, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart. Allow the magic to flow in.